Good evening, everyone. Or excuse me, good morning. CCTV, Capital Community Television, in cooperation with the City of Salem, presents the 2019 USA Softball 18A Fast Pitch Western National Championships, coming to you from beautiful Wallace Marine Park in Salem, Oregon. Today's game features the Delta Heat from Delta, British Columbia, and the Benicia Outlaws from Benicia, California. I am here on a beautiful Sunday morning with my partner. There we are, Steve Norris. Steve's longtime assistant softball coach at South Salem. Steve, what do you think we can expect coming into this game?
Well, I think we're going to have just a great game today. We have two very solid teams, both undefeated, meeting in the winner's bracket here, and we're going to great fielding, awesome hitting, and solid pitching. Buckle up.
The Delta Heat are the visitors for this game. The home team are the Benicia Outlaws. The winner of this game is going to play for the national championship, the Western National Championship. Holy smokes, what a great start. That's Amy Godner roping a double into right field for the Heat on the first pitch of the game. Pitching for the Outlaws, Kate Gillum. That first pitch, as a pitcher, you want to get a strike, you want to get ahead, and Amy Godmeyer said none of that.
She wasted no time.
The hitter now is Hannah Hansen. She's the center fielder. Runner on second base. That's a curveball. It looked like on the outside corner. Oftentimes the pitcher gets that pitch. So she moves it in an inch. That was a nice job. That's a curveball. She got good movement.
Well, as I've said often, it's a game of adjustments. The hitters got to figure out the pitchers. Pitchers have to figure out the hitters' adjustments.
Ball's high, goes off the catcher's glove, allows the runner to advance. I've got to say, I think that was probably a pass ball. What do you think?
I would concur.
So now we've got a runner on third base, and Hannah Hansen's job becomes much easier. She just wants to get bat on ball, score that run. There's that curveball a little bit outside. And the count runs to 3 balls, 1 strike.
Hitter's count. A perfect world, she'd like to take the ball to the right side.
She should be looking for a pitch right now. She's way ahead. And I'm guessing by that swing, she was looking for that pitch. That was a good aggressive swing.
That's the one she was looking for and just missed.
Yep, full count. Gillum needs a strikeout right here. Comes back inside, and Hansen fights it off and gets a bloop single into right field. Scores the run. Good job of hitting right there. And the Delta Heat jump out to it quick. Here it is again. Ultimately, it doesn't matter how hard they're hit. It matters that they're hits.
He did a really good job of fighting that ball off. She got jammed a little bit, but was able to put it in play.
The hitter now is Kiana Jones. She's the pitcher for the Delta Heat. Flies out to right field, and boy, I'll tell you, the Delta Heat are not, they are up there swinging. That's the first out of the first inning. Still with a runner on first base, brings up Gabby Dorval. She's the third baseman. This might now put the steal back into play. We'd like to get that runner in scoring position. Gillum pours it across. Looked to me like she was taken all the way there. What another shot right up the middle. Holy smokes, I tell you, the Heat have come out. They are hitting the ball. This could be a problem for the Outlaws because in yesterday's game, Kiana Jones, the pitcher for the Heat, was pretty stingy with the runs. Last thing the Outlaws wanted to do was fall behind. Emily Horn is the batter. She's the first baseman. That's a good pitch. Outside corner.
We go 3.
It's got to feel good to work ahead here. And now maybe she can nibble away a little bit, get him to chase something.
That's going to be a tough play. Could be made. Ooh, didn't get over there to make that play. That's one where you got to get to the fence. You just got to run to the fence, find the fence first, and then go ahead and try to catch the pop fly. Don't drift. So Horn's down 0-2. If I was a betting man, guessing man, I'd guess rise ball. And I'd be wrong. Steve with 1 out, runners on first and second. This part of the game, would there ever have been a thought to bunting early in the count, even though this is your number 5 hitter?
Boy, the way we've been swinging it, I might be hard pressed to trade it out to move 2 people over.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Horn still behind. Ball on the outside part of the plate. That won't be an infield fly because it's too deep with miscommunication. Center fielder comes up, throws in to third base. That's unfortunate. That's just a lack of communication between people. It was a short fly ball, but definitely catchable. So that now loads the bases for Liv Molescu. And Liv is the catcher. Boy, there's ground ball. This may be a 4 to... That was almost a 4 to 2 to 3 double play. And I'm not sure it wasn't if we when you go back and take a look at this. Well played by the catcher. She clears herself, gets up the line. Yep, I think you got it right.
Hey, River Power 1-3, River Power. Smooth, yes, smooth.
Okay, Jessie Westrate is going to be the hitter. I think we have a courtesy runner, if I'm not mistaken.
Courtesy for the catcher.
Number 11 is Sophia Buckberger. In USA softball, you can courtesy run for both the pitcher and the catcher. It's an effort to try to speed the game up.
And also to keep the pitcher and the catcher's legs fresh.
Especially at the end of these long tournaments. Jessie Westrate is the hitter, and yesterday, Steve, she hit a ball that would have been out of any softball park I've ever been around. The ball was hit a long ways.
Well, sounds like she's the right kid at the right time here. We got bases loaded.
And she could be, this is one of those situations where this game could get out of hand real early. Now she can get out of this with only a 1-0, giving up only 1 run. It looks like she's gonna. It's on 10 unless we got issues. Okay. A little bit of an adventure out there, but the bottom line is it gets done. So at the end of the top half of the first inning of play, the score, Delta Heat 1, and the Outlaws coming to bat.
She just got it off the handle, and as the outfielder comes in, the ball starts to drift away from her just a bit. Just enough to give everybody a little adrenaline spike in their dugout.
Yeah, I'm sure the coach is over there thinking, I don't need this. So, boy, I tell you what, the Heat came out swinging the bats.
I think you got to chalk that up as a victory for as many solid hits as they have to only give up the 1 run.
I would agree. Okay, so now Kiana Jones comes out for the Heat. a nice job yesterday. The one thing I saw yesterday in yesterday's games, and I only saw one, was she didn't throw a lot of off-speed. She threw one off-speed pitch that I saw, and it was for a strike, and then I just didn't see it again. So we'll see if she goes back a little bit more to the off-speed. The Heat had 4 hits, by the way, in that first inning. First hitter for the Outlaws is going to be Katie Chambers. She's the shortstop. Left-hander. She's a slapper, Coach.
She would bunt. I don't recall her slapping.
Pours it across the outside part of the plate.
A good movement down and away.
Attempted bunt. Exactly what Kiana Jones wanted to do is jump out ahead. Right now, you've got to go out and you want to put a 0 on the board because your team just scored that run. And that leadoff hitter's key.
Nice waist pitch.
I was just going to say, that's a great waist pitch right there. What we mean by waist pitch is that you're trying to get her to swing at something that's definitely not her pitch, something out of the strike zone on 0-2.
You'd like to get a strike that isn't in the zone.
And she comes back with a ball on low outside, and not sure if he ruled that a check swing or a swing. I would have called it a swing, but first out.
It's always a relief when you don't get the leadoff hitter on base.
Especially when she's fast. Haley Randall's the hitter. Haley's the second baseman for the Outlaws. Jones comes in high and outside. You know, coaches want to jump ahead, but you got to be careful about just throwing strikes on the first pitch every single time. Especially when you got the kind of control that she seems to have. She's got a little bit of a break outside on that. We were talking yesterday, Steve, about you look at the spin on this is so tight. She gets good break. Now she busts her inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. She's up. She's ahead early.
Changing speeds and changing locations. She's changed locations very well. Let's see about some off speed.
And Randall lays off the high pitch. That's a good 1-2 pitch though again. See if she'll chase it. I can't speak for the entire Outlaws program, but Randall's done a great job staying off the high pitch. She runs the count to full.
I've seen her play a couple times. They're very disciplined hitting crew, but very aggressive. They're not. If it's in their hitting zone, they're gonna turn it loose.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and she works a walk. That's a really good at bat. She came from behind. That brings up Elisa Cueva, the first baseman, number 3 hitter. And as all fans seem to know, the number 3 hitter is generally your best hitter. So the Outlaws pretty good shape here. They've got a lot of options of what they can do with Randall at first base. The ball's up and away. Smashed into left center. Center fielder cuts it off nicely. Gets the ball back in. Pulls the runners to first and second. That ball was drilled.
She recognized that early and turned on it.
Here it is again. Nice job cutting it off though, because that easily could have been first and third. Got on it, got the ball in. Now my understanding is, Steve, I haven't seen these folks play, but this girl here can hit the ball.
Last game I had her, she hit one out right center and one out left center.
So a lot of power at the plate right here.
And the ability to hit to all fields.
1 out. You sure like to be able to get that lead runner if you can. Ooh, that's a good pitch. Down 0-2. Jones jumps ahead. This is a challenge right here. Big test. That's a called third strike. She did a nice job of moving both the up and down and in and out right there.
And where she's thrown the rise ball for the waste pitch, she threw it for a strike that time.
Yeah. Kate Gillum fouls off the first pitch. Kate's the opposing pitcher. Okay, this now becomes a big situation for the Outlaws because they were in pretty good shape and they'd like to get a run across and tie this thing back up. And it's kind of a wasted opportunity if you don't.
And there are only so many opportunities.
A lot of movement to the outside on that pitch. If she starts that pitch, Steve, on the outside edge, it is going to be hard to lay off that. No balls, 2 strikes.
Go hard, go hard.
Ground ball, third baseman. Across the diamond. That's a 5-3 put up.
Well done. And here we'll get another look at it. Got kind of a little check swing, high hopper to the third baseman. Charges it, takes it off the one hop. Shuffle, throw across the diamond, plenty of time.
So at the end of one complete inning, the score, the Delta Heat 1, the Benicia Outlaws 0. Boy, Benicia had a great opportunity there with 1 out. They had runners on first and second, and Jones managed to get out of it.
Well, striking out their 3-hitter, Amanda Ajari, is something I haven't seen in the 3 games I've seen him play. So that was a big momentum shift in that inning because they have the Outlaws have really counted on her bat and her RBIs.
Well, it looked like she was a bit fooled right there. That like she thought it was going to be at the high end of the strike zone, and it turned out to be pretty much right down the middle.
Yep.
So, as Delta comes to the plate, their record in this tournament in pool play, they were 3 wins and no losses, defeating the Oregon Red Heat out of Hillsboro, the Eugene Ice out of Eugene, and Oregon City Nightmare. In pool play, they beat, correction, that was in the bracket play. In the pool play, they beat the Bat Company out of Westland and the Eastside Rough Riders out of Battleground, Washington. At the plate for the Heat is the DP Ronnie Westrate. I'm assuming the sister of Jesse Westrate. Ball's low and away. Even count at 1 apiece.
Well, he's a tall, rangy athlete. He's going to cover a lot of the plate.
Yesterday she came into the game late as a pinch hitter. And in a couple of big situations came up with a hit both times. Gilman needs to strike right here, and she delivers. Evens count at 2-2. Westrate right now needs to expand her strike zone just a bit and make sure that she gets bat on ball and lives to fight to the next pitch. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
There we go.
Too close to plate. That's especially true in fast-pitch softball, where umpires tend to give a bit more of the outside edge.
Oftentimes a ball width.
This time she comes right back inside. Westrate does a nice job fighting that pitch off. Count remains 2-2.
It's a quality at bat for her.
This next pitch will be the 8th. And the more chance she gets to see her, the better off the batter is.
It tips in her favor.
Nicely done.
Boy, if you could do a little clinic video on how to hit with 2 strikes.
Exactly. All of those are, it's not that they're all strikes, but they're too close to take. And eventually she gets one she likes and drives it to left field. Hit pretty well. Nice play out of left field. But Megan Chambers ran it down. Good job of hitting by Ronnie Westrate right there. An equally good job on left field by Megan Chambers making the play. Kate Gillum just kept challenging her and going after her, and she got her out. Veronica Sawatsky is up. She's a second baseman. Number 9 hitter for the Heat. Gillum jumps ahead. Nice pitch.
Boy, it looked like she started off with a rise ball, then came back with a drop ball. And we've seen her move it in and out. She's got the complete deal there.
Okay, we're looking for a good pitcher's pitch, something out of the zone. Yep, that's a good job right there. She threw a rise ball out of the zone.
Okay, here we go.
For the second out, we go back to the top of the order, Amy Godmere. And I'm guessing right now that Gillum is not going to be pounding anything right down the middle because Godmere jumped on the very first pitch and just hit a shot down the right field line.
Absolutely.
Although, came right back after again, a routine fly to center field, and it's run down by Jennifer Baza.
So far, Godmere has seen 2 pitches.
And Kate Gillum has an easy top of the second. So going into the bottom of the second inning, our score is the Delta Heat 1 and the Benicia Outlaws 0. So I'm looking here, Steve, at the Outlaws pool play. They beat the Oregon Red Heat 6-4. The Oregon Red Heat are out of Hillsboro, Oregon. They beat the Bat Company, which is out of West Lynn, Oregon. In bracket play, they've beaten Washington Synergy 11-2. They're out of Maple Valley, Washington. The Acers out of Auburn, Washington 8-5. The Hillsboro Diamondbacks 5-4, and the Northwest Vandals 12-0.
The Delta Heat's catcher, number 27, is a left-hander, Olivia Molescu. You don't often see a left-handed catcher. Sometimes I think it's more convention than it is necessarily necessity, but I didn't certainly hasn't hurt her game so far.
No, Jennifer McHugh is the hitter for the Outlaws. Jennifer's the second base for the catcher. Outside of right field, leads it in there.
Little Texas leader.
And again, we don't ask how, we ask how many. And that's a base hit. Good leadoff for the Outlaws. Always want to get that leadoff hitter. There's a lot of pressure on a defense. Jennifer Baza comes up. She's a center fielder. You saw her run down that fly ball last half inning. Good bunter and very quick. Up the ball's up. Oh, great effort by the catcher, Liv Molescu.
Yes. Jennifer runs as well as anybody in this complex.
Now, the one thing I'd say right there is that and every coach will tell you, is that if that ball's high, if you have to go up on a sacrifice bunt, then don't bunt it. Because high pitches lead to pop-outs. Check swing. Check with first base, and it is ruled not a swing. That evens count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Do you go back and bunt again, Coach?
You know, my feel is that she kind of has a green light up here. She's whatever she sees and the configuration of the defense. Again, it's that game within a game.
Ball's low and in. Takes the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Attempted bunt. Bunts through it. Ooh. Counts now even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. This would be a big out for Jones if she can get it. With Baza's speed, you're not going to double her up. So if you can get a strikeout right here, this would be big.
And her speed put such tremendous pressure on infielders that there were times that the first half of double plays weren't completed or the ball was thrown away because simply they had to rush it to have any chance to get her.
And again, the 2-2 pitch. Well, what a great pitch. Great pitch, big out. That brings up Rachel McClure, the DP for the Outlaws. So now you're in a situation, if you bunt McClure, you're bunting her for your number 9 hitter. McClure fouls off that first pitch up there swinging. That takes it.
That one got away.
And that's so frustrating as a coach because you're running through your mind as to whether or not sacrifice bunt, you know, and the sacrifice bunt seems to be off the table, and then in essence we sacrifice bunt for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that moves the runner to scoring position, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And takes off the force.
It removes the force.
Neither which are good for you defensively.
Ball's up and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ball's up. 3 balls, 1 strike. Pretty common tactic in fast pitch where the batter will show bunt, and you might think it's to try to bother the pitcher. It's more an effort to try to shorten your swing. Jones pours it across, 3 balls, 2 strikes. McClure wants to put the ball in play and advance that runner at the very least. Takes ball, 3rd strike, down in the middle. Closer. That's a big strikeout for Jones. Megan Chambers comes to the plate. She's the left fielder. With 2 down. The Outlaws could use a big hit right here. That doesn't help matters for the Delta Heat. Now, Jones is an experienced enough pitcher. The runner being on second or third probably shouldn't make any difference whatsoever. However, it does mean that on a wild pitch, pass ball, you can now score.
Ball had good movement.
What that means, too, is that because that runner's gone to third base, you're a little bit more cautious about throwing something low.
Mm-hmm.
Good, 3 balls, no strikes. Number 9 hitter, 3 balls, no strikes. I'm guessing what we're going to see right here is a take to try to get back to the top of the order. And he gets the call. 3 balls, 1 strike. There was some disagreement up here in the stands. Ball's hit off her foot. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jones has come back.
Jones seems to be, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but she's certainly throwing more pitches than she has been per batter.
Well done. And that ground ball off the handle goes to the third baseman across the diamond for the 3rd out. Just jammed her.
Yep. Third baseman comes up, makes another very solid play. It's very reassuring to your pitcher to know that your infield and your outfield, your defense has your back.
At the end of 2 full innings of play, the score remains the Delta Heat out of British Columbia, Canada 1, and the Benicia Outlaws out of Northern California 0. Steve, we had some information here about our live streaming I believe you'd like to share.
Yes, if you go to YouTube and search Softball City USA, that'll take you to the field camera, I believe, and all the games that are being streamed live will be there. Even if CCTV is not announcing, they still will be streaming the game.
And speaking of DVDs, you can purchase copies of any of these games that are recorded by CCTV online at www.cctvsalem.org/club-softball. That's www.cctvsalem.org/club-softball. Or you can call CCTV if you'd like to do it over the phone the old-fashioned way, 503-588-2288. That is to purchase DVDs and Blu-rays.
And if you're me, you might be calling the old-fashioned way from your landline.
Our leadoff hitter for the Heat.
Now here's where the game gets interesting, when kids start to get their third look, 3 and 4 looks at a pitcher.
Hannah Hansen comes up, takes a pitch outside. Yep, and now they've seen her at least one time. Have an idea of what she likes to throw. And it looks to me like Hansen likes to throw that curveball and live on the outside corner. Ball's hit pretty well, but should be routine. That's an F9. Fly out to the right fielder, the number 9 position in your scorebook. Kiana Jones, the pitcher, comes up. Kiana flied out last time to right field. She'd like to help herself right here. Gillum had a very easy inning last inning. 1, 2, 3, very few pitches. So she seems to have gotten into a good rhythm.
Yeah, having those 10, 12 innings, 10 and 12 pitch innings.
That should be a handle shot for a base hit. No, great play.
Oh my. That's Jenna Bassa, and that's her running the ball down. Girl can motor.
Here it is again. And actually, she made it look, she caught it about chest high by the time she ran. She does have some speed. Gabby Dorval is the hitter. She's the third baseman for the Heat. So we have 2 down here. This is on her way to having a pretty quick inning for Gillum. Ball down.
She had a single up the middle last time.
Hit the ball hard. Gillum falls behind 2 balls, no strikes. Go way ahead in the count here, can kind of be a little selective. Tries to bust her inside. Runs the count to 3 balls, no strikes. The great thing about really good fast pitch pitchers, Steve, is that 3-0, 3-1 doesn't seem to bother them. They're going to throw a strike. They can generally do it when they want to.
As a rule, we're going to see more home runs than walks.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Emily Horn comes to the plate, and the first baseman for the Heat. She had a base hit last time. I believe Emily had the ball that blooped in.
I believe so too.
But that's a pretty good pitch for the most part. Nevertheless, call the ball. Horns ahead in the count. She comes right back inside, kind of gets underneath her hands a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball on the outside part of the plate, takes it the right way, dumps it into right field. The runner from first is going to go all the way to third. That's going to leave us with a first and third situation. So a ball on third. Good job of hitting right there by Horn. That ball's on the outside part of the plate, break it away, and she just takes it where it's pitched. Drops it into right field.
No hesitation on the runner, taking it 2 bases.
No, and that's especially with 2 outs. I mean, be real aggressive right there. That brings up Liv Molescu, catcher. She's our left-handed catcher. Also hits left-handed. Big out here for Gillum. Through all of this, first and third situation, runners on base, the bottom line is she's still got 2 outs.
Mm-hmm. And again, as a coach, you have to weigh the risk-reward of trying something in the double steal family versus running yourself out of an inning when you have your 5-hitter up with at least 1 runner in scoring position.
Yeah, I completely agreed. There's a ball in on the hands. Boy, she busted in on the hands. She throws that curveball, and then when with a lot of left-handers, that curveball is a pretty effective pitch because it gets in on the handle.
Mm-hmm.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gillum definitely has the advantage here. Fouls it off. One thing yesterday we noticed with the Heat, Steve, is that they stand up in the box and on top of the plate.
Mm-hmm.
They crowd the plate, trying to take away that outside pitch. So then that means you've got to be able to bust them inside. There's that outside pitch. That's a tough hit. So Molesky drives in the second run for the Heat. Although that ball came off the glove of the shortstop, that was a tough hop. It came up on her.
11 for the catcher.
That brings Jesse Westray to the plate. A lot of power here.
Number 11, Sophia Buckberger in the courtesy run.
That's a tough break for Gillum right there. She did a good job, managed to get a ground ball, but a little bit of a bad hop.
Comes right back with a strike.
Yep. You're still early enough that, if your team can't score 2 runs, you're probably not going to win anyway. So. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. No balls, 2 strikes. I'll tell you what I do. I'd go another ball width outside. See if I can get her to chase. Instead she comes inside, Baza. Westray has very good power. I thought that ball, frankly, was off the end of the bat, and the ball just kept carrying.
It just kept climbing, didn't it, Brian?
And if anybody was going to chase it down, it would have been Baza. Ball's driven out of the park. That's a big one. So that takes us to a 5-0 score and brings up the sister, Ronnie Westray, the DP. Boy, that opened up this game.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it negates any speed advantage that the Outlaws have, because now you got to get runs in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
Ball 1 the batter. Busts her inside, misses inside. Comes back in with a strike. Gillum not giving in. 2 balls, 1 strike on the hitter.
It's 2 strikes pretty much in the same spot.
Paints the outside corner, that outside edge. And then busts her inside, gets it off her foot. That's going to sting a little bit. She'll walk it off. You know, it's funny, Steve, I come to these fast pitch tournaments and I see kids hit the ball off their foot and they walk off a few steps and they get back in the box. If I'm watching a major league game, we'd have the trainer out. You'd have thought the guy got shot.
Well, there's a school of thought that if you hit one off your foot, you're supposed to limp down the line just to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any
3 balls, 2 strikes.
embellishment at all there.
By the way, she did it. Ronnie Westray did the exact same thing last time she was up. She fouled off a bunch of pitches.
She had 9 or 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately flew out to left, or lined out to left field, but boy, if it was close, she was getting bat on ball.
Nurse to walk there.
Another good at-bat.
Your turn, B.
That brings up Veronica Sawatsky.
Number 75, Veronica Sawatsky.
Sawatsky struck out swinging last time.
We got 2 out. They would really like to get out of this inning.
And you know, Steve, right now there's part of me that would say you'd like to get that runner at first base to scoring position, and you would. But in the event that doesn't work, you probably don't want to lead off the inning next inning with your number 9 hitter.
Sharp as a ball in the 6-hole.
So much for that theory. Got a base hit, that puts runners on first and second in an inning where we've already scored 4 runs. Gillum's having a tough time here. She's going to be facing her 9th hitter in Amy Godmere, and Godmere hit a shot down the right field line her first time up, flew out to center field last time. So this is not going to be an easy out. Tries to get her to chase a rise ball. Godmere has a very short, compact swing.
Quick to the ball. But not without some pop, that's for sure.
Two balls, 1 strike. Misses down.
Win it 4-2.
It's 3 balls, 1 strike. Our on-deck hitter is Hannah Hansen. She had a single in the first inning, flew out in the second. There's Gottmeyer, hits the ball out again. That's probably going to score a run. They're going to send her. Ball's cut off. Leaves runners on first and third. And that moves Sawatsky to third on the base hit by Godmere. And that brings up Hannah Hansen, and we're now facing our 10th batter of the inning, and we have a pitching change. Amanda Ajari is coming in to pitch.
She came in yesterday, and she's got a little bit more velocity, and certainly a bit of a challenge to come
29 now pitching.
in from a position rather than coming out of the bullpen.
It appears Kate Gillum is going to go ahead and move over to first base. We'll get that for you as we get closer to restarting the inning.
Getting a look at the last RBI. Hard shot down the line. Do a good job of getting it in, but even better job of base running.
Okay, so Gillum goes to first,
Have a stroke, Hannah.
and Cueva, who was our first baseman, goes to third. And Ajari comes in with runners on first and third. Pumps across the strike to Hannah Hansen, the Delta Heat center fielder.
Who's got her second at bat this inning.
Ball's way outside. That's a wild pitch. That sends the Godmire to second base.
You're in charge, Hannah.
Ball up. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hannah Hansen scores these 2 runs, and this is really going to get tough. This is tough now, but it's going to be really difficult for the Outlaws. Pounds that outside corner. Good job. 2 balls, 2 strikes, evens the count. We got deuces or wild right here. We got 2 people on. We've got 2 balls, 2 strikes, and we've got 2 outs. Comes back in our hands, and Hansen battles that pitch off. This is tough duty for Ajari here, who's, comes in a really difficult situation. Is expected to shut off the scoring.
On 6 warm-up pitches.
Yeah. Ball outside and up. Hannah Hansen's run the count to 3 balls, 2 strikes. Don't give in to her because you've got an open base. Another foul ball. Good job. It's one thing the Heat do very well. And if they get 2 strikes, they're protecting the plate.
Yeah, it's not a happenstance. It has to be something they work on and stress.
That ball's driven to right field deep, and that ball is out of here. I'm telling you, the Heat have opened up a big lead now. That's 9-0. Holy cow. Thought of Jerry going out to the mound right now, or to the circle, darn it. The old baseball player in me always refers to it as a mound, and it's not a mound, it's a circle.
I hate to be negative Nancy here, but Brian, there's been a lot of runs scored here with 2 outs.
Yes, there has.
And if we go back to the miscue at shortstop, whether you score that as an error or not, it's still a ball that got by, and it's extended this inning.
Steve, that's a great point, because by my count, I'm looking at the scorebook here. This inning started off with an F9 fly, and then the diving catch in center field. There were 2 downs, 2 down, nobody on. They've scored 8 runs after 2 outs. That's impressive.
And demoralizing.
Oh yeah, Kiana Jones is now the hitter. Ajari pounds the ball outside, and Jones fouls it off to the right side.
You got this, Cam.
You're exactly, that is, Steve's exactly right. That's so demoralizing to go out and get 2 quick outs and then give up a couple runs, let alone 8.
And 2 home runs.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of 18A softball. The kids are big, strong athletes who are very skilled, and pitching is good, but the kids who are going to go pitch on Saturdays in college are playing gold.
When you said that, you made the point that these kids are now coming back up for their 2nd and 3rd times, and they're now the hitters are making adjustments, and boy howdy have they.
Kind of the rules for me in the games that I've seen is usually by the 3rd time up is when teams start bunching runs.
That was the 1-2 pitch, and it's outside. Good movement.
Now, one thing the Outlaws do have is they have 3 rostered pitchers, so.
Change up. Took it low. That's still a good pitch, though. If you're going to miss that pitch, that's okay to miss right there. If she swings at that and makes contact, she's probably going to hit a ground ball. And then should be a fly ball to 8, and it is. And the inning finally comes to a close after facing 11 batters. The Delta Heat score 8 runs to open this thing up, and the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Delta Heat 9 and the Benicia Outlaws 0.
That's a good bit of hitting right there.
Well, this now, now what this does for Benicia, you can't take any chances on the bases. You have to try to bunch runs. I mean, a lot of your offensive weapons are you're not going to be able to use them now. It's going to be a tough situation, and then on top of it, you're 8-0 against a good pitcher. Boy, that seems like you don't want to say it's insurmountable, but it's tough.
On the other hand, what I would be telling the girls is, hey, we've done this before, and plenty of other people done it. People can score runs in bunches.
Well, as you say, they won their last game against Northwest Vandals 12-0, so they've got the ability to score runs.
And the Vandals are a very solid ball club.
So we're going to be back at the top of the order, and Kate Chambers, and this is a good place to start. I mean, it's if you had your druthers after something like that, after an inning like that, you would like to start at the top of the order.
Stay focused, team. Stay focused.
Big thing for Kate Chambers. She can give her team a bit of a pickup here if she can get on base and kind of get something started.
We're down to Outlaws. Number 21, Kate Chambers.
And of course, Kiana Jones, her job right now is to shut this down and don't give them any hope.
Absolutely. As we talked about before, she needs to honor her club's showing at the plate by coming back and having her best inning so far, pitching.
She would all off again.
She would love to hang a goose egg on the scoreboard.
And about 14 other people associated with their team would like to see a goose egg on the scoreboard.
Yep.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And at least half of our vast broadcast network.
2 balls, 2 strikes. She evens the count. Chambers struck out last time, swinging strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch from Jones. Just pours it across. And this is also, Steve, a time when you probably would like your pitcher to realize that with this kind of lead, this is not time to be fine.
That's a great point.
I mean, get it, throw it, make them do it.
You're looking to pitch to contact. You don't want to give something fat and slow down the middle, but
Great at-bat by Chambers, though. She's up there hacking with 2 strikes. She's hanging in there and making Jones throw some pitches.
And it may be early to talk about this, but one of the things that's got to be in the Delta Heat's mind, too, is the possibility of a run rule and saving your pitchers. Because each inning is a premium.
That right there was a good at-bat, coming back.
Not very much, Ken. Here we go.
And that's exactly what the Outlaws needed.
Get your leadoff on.
Sure.
A little something to smile about.
If you can get Haley Randall now to get on base, you start getting into your 3, 4, 5 hitters, I mean, they can score some runs in bunches. I would think, though, that now Katie Chambers on first base, that you're probably not going to run. I just don't, you can't take chances. You need too many runs. And I will say that Jones is probably, I'm guessing, disappointed in herself at that walk, especially that walk right there, being so far ahead to start with at bat. That's going to be right on the bag. Oh, could not have hit that in terms of the Delta Heat. Could not have hit that in a better spot. Literally right at the bag. If you feel it, you actually may have tripped all right, I'm not sure.
The trajectory of the hop of the ball took you to the bag.
Elisa Cueva hits it in to get a pitch inside off the hands. She hits a drive to right field. Boy, that ball was stung. And played well out in right field by Amy Godmere. There's that name again.
Yeah, and sometimes those balls can tail. She played that well.
She did. The balls hit well. Amanda Ajari came in. She struck out, took a called third strike. Outstanding power here, and we may have just seen it again. And there it is. She hits another ball out of the park. That's been a frequent occurrence during this tournament. That's a two-run homer. And just like that, the Outlaws are on the board. 9-2.
I was looking forward to her next at bat because I thought she maybe had a score to settle after getting froze like that.
Out of here and get them right back. Here we go.
That brings up Kate Gillum.
Gab left side.
Kate grounded out to the third baseman last time. Good pitch, though. That missed. That was a ball, but boy, that was good pitcher's pitch. Jones looks like she's kind of not as sharp as...
Yes, she's throwing more pitches and just doesn't seem to be as sharp.
2 balls, no strikes. Comes across. Base hit into right field. That wasn't hit hard, but still a base hit. And again, now you're sitting here with Jennifer McHugh coming up, who's got a single already in today's game.
We're still in the meteor order, and how many out do we have? 2 out. We know good things can happen in bunches and 2 outs.
Coach Alexa coming out. Gonna have a chat with Jones. Maybe talking a little bit about changing their pattern.
Jump in front of the camp.
Doesn't appear they're going to change.
Hamming it out the center.
But now we're back into a situation, Steve, where you get a big fly right here and you're right back in
Right field last time visit.
And what I've seen out of these games is that I've seen a lot of home runs. Balls are flying. So McHugh comes up. Base hit already, as I said, under her belt. She already got one in there. She can relax knowing that she's had a successful game already.
Come on, KJ.
Shake it off. Here you go.
Rock and roll, Jonesy. Rock and roll.
Like you do, Kitty.
There's another shot in the right field. They also come out with nobody at first base. A lot of times that hard hit ball, they got a shot at first base, but there was nobody covering first base. So that ball was hit well. That moves Gillum to second. That's 2 hits for McHugh. She's having herself a good game. Jennifer Baza, great speed here. We'll see what happens.
It appears that Jones has been trying to work away, and the approach of the Outlaws is just to sit back and take it where it's pitched. They're very disciplined. And then if you miss it all, they have the capacity and the capability to make it go out.
That probably should be an F8 fly ball to the center fielder, and she gets out of the inning. But not before the Outlaws score 2 runs on the Ajari home run.
Well, I would imagine Ajari, when she came in, perhaps went over there and got a little bullpen session if she didn't feel she was completely warmed up prior to that.
So as we head into the top of the 4th inning, the score, the Delta Heat 9, the Outlaws out of Benicia, California, 2.
And when Amanda came in the dugout, I would, after hitting the home run, I'm sure I would have found her the Gatorade of her choice. What color can I get you, Slugger?
Well, the Dad went out. I'm assuming Dad.
I believe so.
Todd Ajari went out, had a conversation with her. She managed to get out of that inning, came up to the plate and hit the 2-run homer. Tell you, Steve, you and I both have been in a situation coaching daughters, and it's not an easy task in summer softball.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers and a lot of dynamics you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Occasionally, my strategy was just ask one of the other coaches to mention to my daughter she might try to do this.
to run the message out.
Yes. It might be better served coming from you than me.
Gabby Dorval is coming to the plate for the Heat. He's third baseman. Gabby's got a base hit and a base on ball, so she's had herself a day right now. Looking to get this started, and I'll tell you, they'd like to get those 2 runs back. Steve mentioned that Jones right there wanted to put a 0 on the board. That didn't get done, so now the Outlaws, while they don't have momentum, they have reason to believe. And so it's important right now if the Heat can come back and score a couple and undo that. Ooh, that ball looked like it was a bit up.
A little high, Winner. A little high.
And also, getting 2 runs takes the run rule maybe not quite the possibility.
Good changeup. Third baseman cuts it off.
Well done.
Well played by Cueva at third. Good throw to first. Getting that leadoff runner. That's big. She threw the changeup right there, and that was a good pitch. That brings up Emily Horn. Emily had a base hit last time to right field. She had 2 base hits in the game, but that's a third.
She's having herself a day. Boy, that one 5-6 spot, that ball takes a wicked hop.
Yes, it does.
There's concrete underneath that dirt. And nothing disparaging about the groundskeeping crew by any
One
means.
Billy Powers angry with us. He'll cut off our access to the concession stand.
No one got time for that.
Liv Molesky is here. Catcher. Takes ball 1 high.
She had a base hit to the left side last time.
And she's going to do it again.
You're going to get one.
And here come the Heat. This is exactly what you wanted as a Heat, was to not just go 1, 2, 3. And that brings up Jessie Weststraight. And Jessie hit a home run the last time she was up. Good power here.
Stroke one, Jess.
Yesterday she hit the longest home run I've seen in the tournament. So really good power here. This would be really demoralizing for the Outlaws if you come up and give up those runs again.
Sometimes this can be a cruel game. You can miss by 1 or 2 inches and the ball is out. And conversely, you hit your spot and you hit into a double play. So
Well, I think exactly what you're talking about is that last base hit. Gets it off the end of the bat, drops it into left field. Pitcher makes a good pitch, does everything you can do, and things don't work out.
additionally, as a hitter, like you get that you get a ball off the end of the bat, that scored a single. You smoke a ball into the outfield 3 feet off the ground, it's still a single.
Exactly.
Just feels better.
2 balls, 1 strike. That pop fly looks like an infield fly called. That's a big out. It's the second out of the inning. Ball looked like it was drifting a bit on the first baseman, but it didn't matter because with runners on first and second, less than 2 outs, the infield fly situation is in play. It was called early, so the batter was out. That brings up Ronnie Westray, and she had a base on balls. She lined out to left field the first time up, had a base on balls, and what Ronnie's done is she has made these pitchers work. Ball outside. Evens count, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs. Amanda Joy really trying to shut this off right now.
Yes, let's get out of this inning.
Good cut, good cut.
It's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One ball,
See it happen, Rock.
Going to compete her way out of this situation. So it's a changeup. Out fly out to the second baseman. Well done.
She's throwing more off-speed stuff in her 2 innings than we've seen all game out of either pitcher.
Yeah, I think that despite the fact that the Heat had 2 hits in that inning, didn't score any runs, so we go into the bottom of the 4th inning with the score. The Delta Heat, British Columbia 9, and the Benicia Outlaws out of Northern California 2. Okay, we're at a point now where everyone has now seen the pitchers. I think we're beyond the point, Steve, of pitchers dominating this.
Absolutely. Hitters have seen a lot of pitches all summer, and as well as this tournament.
Looks like we're going to get a change in pitchers right here, though, for the Heat. Jones is heading out to the outfield, and into the game comes Ronnie Westrate is now the pitcher.
Who was the DP?
She was the DP. And so, brand new pitcher, Kiana Jones comes out.
You got the defensive changes.
Now there's a pitcher after your own heart. 2 pitches and let's go.
So Kiana Jones is probably moving to the DP position. She'll stay at the 3rd spot in the order.
Go, Ronnie!
Ronnie Westrate moves to the pitcher. Umpire and the Heat coach are working it out.
In the 5 spot, 0-0 for 3.
Got it.
In the 8 spot, number 4 now pitching. The flex, number 12, is being replaced with number 11. 11 for 12. Got that, Coach? 0-0 for 3. 4 now pitching. 11 for 12.
So we've got Sophia Buckberger coming in as the flex for the Heat, replacing Steph Sheena. And Autumn Hillier coming in the number 5 spot for the Heat, replacing Emily Horn. Ronnie Westrate's the new pitcher, and she pours it across and jumps ahead of Rachel McClure, the DP for the Outlaws. Up and away. Evens count, 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, up and away. Two balls, 1 strike. It's really important that Westrate gets off and has a good inning here because, again, if you're the Outlaws, you've now chased their starting pitcher. You're down 9-2, but again, that gives you a feeling that you're making some progress.
That you have a slight momentum shift, that you have something in your advantage.
And you don't want to walk this first hitter. That's going to fall. Barely not going to fall. Holy cow. What a catch. That right there was as good a play as I've seen in this tournament. Wow. I did not think she could get to that ball. Here it is again. Wow, she just extended. Hits the ground. Checks her glove, and by God, there it is. Shows the ball. That was a great catch. Megan Chambers is now the the hitter for the Outlaws. And you know, Steve,
That may be a dagger.
we were just saying how, about momentum. And if that goes for a double right there, the Heat are feeling pretty good. Mm-hmm. The Outlaws are feeling
absolutely
better.
Yeah.
And you're right, that might be a dagger right there.
And the confidence level of the new pitcher just went up.
Yeah, Katie Chambers is now the hitter for the Outlaws. And I don't think you can underestimate what Steve was talking about right there, that, that leadoff hitter, she was real close to walking her and putting her on base, potentially walking her and then be close to becoming a double. Ends up getting the out. 2 balls, no strikes to Katie Chambers. Katie got on last time at a base on balls. And was forced out at was forced out at second base. That was it.
An extreme outside pitch.
That's the result. Mm-hmm. When a pitcher can paint that outside, not the outside part, the outside edge of the plate, now puts a hitter in a really tough spot. And that last swing, I think, reflected that. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a great location.
Okay, she's leaning so far over, there's a real temptation to try and jam it. Good pitch. There's a real temptation to try to jam her inside, but that may fall into the category of don't outthink yourself. Because if she throws that pitch, and if it is hit, it's probably going to be a base hit as opposed to something worse. And Katie Chambers takes a call, 3rd strike. So, Ronnie Westrate comes in, gets the job done, backed up by a fantastic catch by Hannah Hansen in center field.
That's a web gem right there.
I don't know that anybody from ESPN's here, but if they were, the score going into the top of the 5th inning, Delta Heat 9, the Outlaws 2.
And the Outlaws have a bit of a tough road offensively, is that they've got to start all over and adjust to a new pitcher who seemingly has good command of her stuff. It's going to be a tough day. But good game. I believe they're up for the challenge.
Okay, so now correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. At the 5th inning, we've got an 8-run rule. Correct?
Yes.
We'll say so. If Delta was to score a run and then hold in the bottom of the 5th, that would be the ball.
8 runs after 5, I believe, is correct.
So we're in the top of the 5th inning. We're going to lead off with Veronica Schwatzky, our second baseman for the Heat. Takes a ball 1, up. Second ball. It looks to me like Steve Ajari's pitches, her go-tos are the rise ball and the change.
Mm-hmm.
Inside part of the plate for a strike. It's a good pitch to take. 2 balls, 1 strike. Number 9 hitter, boy, if you can get on, it's a big bonus for your team. Ajari pounding the inside part of the strike zone on those last 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anything close? You want to get bat on ball? Try to jam her again.
Quick hands.
That ball, she let that ball get pretty deep. Count is even. Veronica Slotsky looking to start. an inning for the Heat. And there comes the change. The count goes full.
And here's an example of the game within the game. Right here, if she gets on, it's a much different complexion. If she's out, defensively, they're in a much better place.
And I'm telling you, Steve, that people will say, that an out is an out, but not really, because the leadoff hitter in an inning is the most important out. That's going to be a pop-up. It looks like a fly ball out to the left fielder who makes the play. Megan Chambers takes it in.
Well, no, as importantly for her, she gets on. Now we have top of the order up. Nobody out runner on first base.
Now we go to Amy Godmeyer, who has had herself a day.
Yeah.
Go for it, too.
Ajari pours a pitch across the outside part of the plate. Gets ahead on the hitter. Comes back to the rise. See if she'd chase. Godmere says, I'm not doing it.
Not having it.
Ball 2. Godmere jumps ahead in the count. Ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Godmere is not somebody you want to pitch behind to.
But certainly somebody you might want to be careful to.
Yes, indeed.
Even with nobody on.
There she is again.
She's 3 for 4 today. She's a triple shy of the cycle.
And everything's gone to the right side, so what happens when you get behind in that situation, you got to come to her, then she can hit where she wants to, as opposed to you messing around at the outside part and trying to get her to roll over. Hitter now is Hannah Hansen. Hannah hit a home run the last time up. That's a base hit up the middle. That's going to... Godmere's going to go to third. Great base run there. She saw it in front of her.
Good job, Anna!
Well done. Good base running. Good heads-up base running.
That was Hannah Hansen, the single to right field.
That ball was hit right in front of Godmere. She saw where it was. She never hesitated at all. Hit second base and went right to third.
Yep. She put her head down, hit the inside corner, and kept motoring.
So that brings up Kiana Jones, who was our starting pitcher. Now moved to the DP position. This is a pretty good feeling right now for her, because bottom line is she's got to make contact and get the ball in play, and they're probably going to score a run. Joey would like to get ahead. Throws the ball. That hurts. That hurts because it takes off any chance of a force.
Have a stroke, kid!
And I don't know what kind of speed Jones has, but I'm guessing she wouldn't rate probably as one of their speedsters. And Joey finally falls behind 2 balls, no strikes.
And we're in a situation where we have possibly the game-ending winning run at third base with 1 out.
This almost looks like Ajari's pitching around her. Like she doesn't want to pitch to her, and she'd rather go to maybe Gabby Dorval, especially now that there's no force. But that pitch doesn't say that she's pitching around her. And Dorval, the on-deck hitter's no day at the beach here. She's got a base hit. Okay, so that's ball 4. loads them up for Gabby Dorval. Now, you can look at a walk and say that's not a good thing, but what it really did was it sets up a force. So now if we get a ground ball to the infield, they can come home, make the play at home, and cut off that run. I'm not convinced that, while that wasn't intentional, I don't think she was going to give in to it.
Do what you do, kid.
And the reality is, if the one she walks scores, it's academic anyway.
Exactly.
Either it's going to be an 8-run game or it's going to be a 13-4 game.
You're in charge. Wait for it.
Dorval hit a shot up the middle in the first inning. She walked in the third, grounded out to the third baseman in the fourth. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good hustle out of the box.
Ball's fouled off down the left side, and I'll guarantee you that Gabby Dorval says it was wishing she had that pitch back. Because that was very hittable. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now she's got to expand the zone, get the ball in play somewhere. Nice job blocking the ball by her catcher, Jennifer McHugh. Kept that ball in front.
And I don't know that I've seen anybody else catch. This is my 3rd game with the Outlaws. She's
Caught them all.
She's caught them all, I believe.
Counts even, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Still got a little spring in her legs.
Run it full.
You now, kid. Wait for it.
All right, and now is pitcher versus hitter. 1 pitch. Three balls, 2 strikes. Pours it right down Broadway for the second out. Wow. Big pitch by Jari. That brings up new hitter, 00, Autumn Hilliard. For her first time up. Takes the ball outside.
Now by number 0, Autumn Hilliard.
That's such a good job pitching right there. She threw that first pitch and it was just off the outside, so she moved it in about an inch and just put it right in the black. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pinpoint control, just put it where it needs to be.
Count goes to 2 ball, 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Boy, she can get out of this right here. Be big.
Well, not to be Captain Obvious, if she doesn't get out of it, they've just broke the 8-run barrier. Because if she doesn't get out of it, that means at least 1 scored.
So the count now, 3 balls, 1 strike. Autumn Hilliard holds all the cards. There is a base hit, and the ball gets by. That is going to and Hilliard is going into second base with a double. Probably. Ball got under the left fielder's glove, went all the way to the fence. That's not a bad play by the left fielder, because in this situation, when you're down by 7, you have to try to score. You got to try to get that ball in the air. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Really no other play.
There's a pop fly. That could be interesting.
I'm surprised Basso didn't get that one.
Basso. So, another big inning for the Delta Heat. The score going into the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Outlaws are playing right now to try to keep this game going.
So we have a 10-run differential. They've got to get 3 to take the 8-run
Ground out to Jack.
off the table.
Going into the bottom of the 5th inning to Delta Heat 12. The Benicia Outlaws 2. Yeah, you were saying in there, you know, if you were down by 1 right there, you know, you'd probably tell your left fielder, hey, make sure everything stays in front. But when you're down by 7, it's the difference between a 12-2 game and a 11 or a 10-2 game. Doesn't matter. So give it a shot. Try to get it in the air.
Well, and the thing to keep in mind here, too, is that whoever does ultimately win this game, the loser's still around. Both are undefeated up to this point. It's just a tougher row to hoe, so to speak, for the team that loses, because they've got to come up through the losers bracket. But there aren't a lot of games left to play. It's not you got to play all day.
The bottom line is you're playing in a semifinal on Sunday. All right, to the plate for the Outlaws, number 54, Haley Randall comes up. She's second baseman for the Outlaws. Haley's got a base on balls in the 1st inning, got on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. That first out, still want to get it, still big. Nice pitch. A little bit of pop there.
Yeah, I concur. That was low and away and a little zip on it, a little mustard.
Good pitch, though. I tell you what's so good about that is she got the outside corner the last time, so I'll slide it out there just a tad more. And it was down.
And then she brings it in the other way.
But this is kind of what happened to her with the leadoff hitter last inning before the great catch in center field. She kind of ended up getting behind.
Battle back. Here we go.
And then once she got the great catch, it seemed like she settled down, threw the ball wherever she wanted to. But that first hitter seems to cause her some issues. It's 3 balls, 1 strike right now. Randall's looking to get on base. You know, a pitcher that can field her position is really, really good. It's, as a coach, that makes you feel pretty good. 1 hopper right back to her.
Right side, deep. Right side.
Easy play. Nicely done. That brings up Elisa Cueva, 3rd baseman. She had a line out to right field last time. In the 1st inning, she had a base hit to left center.
And the thought process for the Outlaws is they just need to extend their at-bats. String together some base hits. You're not going to get a 1 swing that's going to get you 10 runs.
That's right, yeah. Westrate falls behind 2 balls, no strikes. Cueva in the driver's seat here.
Hey, here we go now. 4, let's go.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Business time, kid. Business time.
The Outlaws continue being aggressive at the plate. Off the handle, boy, that's a good pitch.
Great call, Liam.
Westrate came in and jammed her. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Counts even.
But it also appears that both teams, the catchers, are calling pitches. They just seem to be called from the bucket, from the elder statesman out of the dugout. So,
You know, it was a great changeup right there. Missed, but that was a great changeup. And I think that's a good point because I'm not seeing the normal wristbands, that we see that are quite common now in softball. That was a very good pitch and an even better job by the hitter. Cueva, just getting the bat on the ball, living to fight another pitch.
and going back to that changeup a couple pitches ago, it also now just plants the seed
Yes, indeed.
in that hitter's mind. It also maybe adds 2 or 3 miles an hour mentally to her fastball.
That's going to be a problem.
Swinging bunt.
Throws it away. Right fielder's backing it. Oh, it gets by the right fielder. Okay. That is a base hit. And that was actually very good base running not to take off right there because you like said she's not worth 10 runs. But that brings the big stick up for the Outlaws, Amanda Ajari.
We saw one pitch last time before she parked it, so we'll see here.
And she's been hitting home runs at a fast pace. What you don't want to do here with the heat, though, is become so careful. If she hits a 2-run homer here, you're still leading by 8. So make your pitch. Try to get her to hit something that hit the ball on the ground somewhere.
Yeah, you have to get extra careful. You can live with the worst possible scenario here.
Yes.
2-run home run is a speed bump at this point. 2 or 3 of those, that becomes a major issue. The road is out, so to speak.
That's a good pitch in on her hands.
Well, the catcher's got a... Let's see.
That's a little rescue of the catcher back here. Took one off the thigh. She's going to be fine. She just needs a little bit of time here, and
she'd like it to stop stinging.
And the umpire's going to give her a little bit of time to shake that off.
Okay, let's take another look here.
I actually thought it was off the thigh, but it looked to me like it might have run off the kneecap.
Yeah. So at least it caught, hopefully it caught some shin guard.
But in the tradition of all, that catcher, I tell you, catchers are tough, the toughest people, taking shots left and right. And good for her. Rub it off and get going. So the ball counts 2 balls, 1 strike. Ooh, man.
Just missed.
Just missed is right. Just throw your pitch.
Let the chips fall.
That right there was a very good play by the second baseman. You'll go unnoticed because she probably could have tried to get the force at second base, but it doesn't matter. They're up by, they've got to get, if they score that run at second base, it doesn't matter. It brings them within 9 runs, and they're still above the 8-run limit. To the plate comes Kate Gillum.
She didn't try to get greedy and try to tag her and then get the double play. Play the percentages. Know your situation.
Well coached. They knew what to do with the ball. So Gillum falls off the first pitch, falls behind 0-1. Ooh, that's a tough pitch.
Conversely, it's a good let by the hitter.
She throws that flip change right there, which means she throws it backhand and flips that overhand backhand, and so the spin is really difficult to pick up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good hops out of our first base coach.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Out of Jerry.
So Kate Gillum right now is going to battle up there and make sure she gets a ball in play. And Ronnie Westrade is going to go ahead and try to make her hit her pitch. It's a good pitch. See if she'll chase it.
We got 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Jams her inside. That was a very good pitch. And that ends the inning for the Benicia Outlaws. So they got 1 runner. They left 1 runner on, failed to score. The 8-run USA softball run rule is in order. The score being 12-2, the game comes to an end. That will move the Outlaws into the losers bracket. They're still alive, and the Heat now will wait for the winner of the next game, and they will be playing for the Western Nationals 18U Championship. Our final score, the Delta Heat out of British Columbia 12. The Outlaws out of Benicia, California 2.
And there is a possibility, a very strong one, that we may see both these teams in the championship game. It is a double elimination tournament, and the Outlaws have only lost once.